the 11 elements begin with the very fact of acting on whatever it is that contains more excitement, more passion, more curiosity, more attractiveness, in a sense, more love than any other choice at that particular moment. And again, we remind you, it doesn't necessarily have to be a life-spanning career. It doesn't necessarily have to be some gigantic project that takes years and years and years to fulfill or come to fruition. At every moment, you have all sorts of options available to you, even the ones you would consider to be ordinary or everyday. Taking a walk, talking to a friend, eating a meal, reading a book, watching a movie, whatever it may be. As long as you are taking action to the best you can on whatever it is that contains even just the tiniest bit more excitement and passion, curiosity and attractiveness than any other choice, and you just keep doing that to the best you can for as long as you can, you will be fulfilling that requirement of the 11 elements of excitement that will then lead you down the path that will fulfill your life automatically. So, the first 4 steps are to act on your passion to the best you can. And when we say to the best you can, we mean taking it as far as you can till you can take it no further. And when we say take it as far as you can until you can take it no further, we mean that you need to also pay attention to what your society has established as an ability to do something. So if it countermands the laws you have agreed to abide by, if it countermands the ethics you have agreed to abide by in your society, if it countermands the morality you have agreed to abide by in your society, as well as the physical limitations that may be there for a variety of positive reasons, you cannot take it any further than that. And when you find coming up against that idea where you can take it no further, realize that's there for a reason. It's an indication that straight ahead is not your path, but taking a left or taking a right may be. So when you find that the excitement wanes, if you are not making it go away with your definitions, which is always the first thing to pay attention to, make sure you're not dampening the excitement with your negative belief systems. But if it's truly waning and truly showing you that you do not need to continue down that particular path that originally came to you in the form of excitement, then that's your first clue that you need to look around for what is next, containing more excitement than any other choice, because that is the turn you need to make and you need to take at that moment. So if you act on your passion to the best you can, then the third component of this formula is to act on that passion to the best you can with absolutely zero, and I mean zero, assumption or insistence on what the outcome is supposed to look like. Because the truth of the matter is that your physical mind, while it might sometimes guess correctly or closely or similarly to what the outcome does happen to look like, it very often has no clue what the best possible outcome actually needs to look like. So if you understand that your insistence on a particular outcome is actually limiting you from what an outcome could be that might be many times better than what your physical mind was capable of imagining, you won't insist, you won't assume on what that outcome needs to look like, because you really will finally be humble enough to let go of the idea that your physical mind knows for certain what the best outcome for you is. It doesn't in most cases, but your higher mind does. It's on the mountaintop, guiding you in the valley below, helping you turn left and turn right on the path that is truly you by sending you the language that is translated from the higher mind to the physical mind in the form of energy that your body experiences as passion and excitement. But the actions that you take are the response that need to happen. There must be a physical action, because physical action is actually the language of physical reality. And if you're not actually acting on the passion that your higher mind has sent you as a message, then you're not speaking in the language of physical reality. And if you do not take those actions on your passion, then there is no purpose in your higher mind sending you more opportunities to act on your passion if you haven't acted on what it's already sent you. So the idea, again, is to act on your passion with no insistence, no assumption as to what the outcome should be, and know for a fact that whatever manifests will be the outcome that at that moment you need to experience for whatever reason. You have to know it's there for a reason. And this brings us to the fourth point of the 11 elements, and that is to choose to remain in a positive state no matter what manifests from the actions that you take, because even if what manifests is, in objective perspective, something you don't prefer, objectively speaking, you have to know that it's still got to have manifested for a reason that can serve you. There's got to be a reason why that particular thing showed up in your life at that moment. Even when you chose to act on your passion, something showed up, perhaps, that is representative of what you don't prefer, but it's got to be there to serve you. If you stay in a positive state, you will understand how to use it in a positive way, and you'll be able to extract the benefit from it, and you will see and start to understand why that showed up. If nothing else, it can be as simple as something you don't prefer showing up to give you more contrast between what you don't prefer and what you do prefer, and make what you do prefer more clear in your mind. And that's a positive way and a preferable way to use what you don't prefer. And as soon as you use it up in a preferable way, it will go away because you have, in fact, used it for the reason it showed up. If you refuse to accept that what showed up has any part in being in your life, you're the one that makes it stick around longer than it needs to, because you're refusing to validate something that is actually a part of your life that has shown up and manifested before you. So the idea, again, is to come from the positive state as the fourth step, to allow yourself to know that it has to have manifested for a reason. And if you stay in the positive state, you will get to use it in a positive way and get a benefit from it. Now, that's the first 4 steps of the 11 elements of excitement. You act on your passion to the best you can, no insistence or assumption as to the outcome, and you remain in a positive state so that you can get the benefit from whatever it is that manifests, because you know it's got to have manifested for a reason that can serve you. When you do that, when you act on these 4 steps and stay in that positive state, you then unlock all the automatic tools that will serve you and act to your advantage in life. And these are the remaining elements of the 11 elements of excitement. Your life becomes a driving engine. You have the energy to move forward, because when you are excited about acting on your passion, it gives you the energy to do so. It becomes the driving engine. You can't wait to act on it. You can't wait to get up in the morning and start doing the things that you love to do. It becomes the organizing principle of synchronicity, which literally brings you things in the order in which you need to act on them by showing you which ones contain more excitement, more passion than any other choice. Whatever it is you didn't have time to act on at the end of the day, when you are excited about going to sleep, you didn't need to act on that day. It literally organizes every facet of your life and allows you to experience a monumental flow of perfect timing in terms of how things and opportunities come to you that you need exactly when you need them, not a moment before, but not a moment later than you need it. And then the third thing is it becomes the path of least resistance. Your life starts to flow more effortlessly. You don't have the idea of resistance, of pushing against things, of forcing things to happen. It's just an automatic function that you start slipping and flowing through your life more easily, and you see that the manifestations happen more easily, more automatically in your life. It becomes the path that connects you to all expressions of excitement in your life that are relevant for you to experience. Whatever it is that will be relevant for you will come in perfect timing. Whatever doesn't come isn't relevant for you, at least not at that moment. So don't stress, don't be impatient, don't push, don't force, thinking that something has to happen right now or something is wrong. Let it come to you automatically in the form it needs to come. And remember that whatever form your excitement and passion does come in doesn't mean that that's the form that actually has to come to fruition. Sometimes the idea will come in a certain form just to get you to make a move, because your higher mind knew that if it came to you in that form, you would take action on it. And then perhaps it will lead you to where you need to be so that what really needs to happen can happen for you that serves you best. So never assume that the form the excitement comes in is the form that has to actually come to fruition in physical terms, because you don't know that that's the case. And again, That's why it's important to drop the insistence that a certain outcome must happen, because you don't really know why your excitement manifested the way that it did, but you'll find out if you just go with the flow of whatever it is that excites you at the moment more than any other thing. The idea is that your path may seem to be winding, but if that's really the path of least resistance and the path of connectivity for you, that's relevant for you, it will actually be the fastest path. What may appear to be a shorter path that may seem to be straighter, if it's really not your path, will contain so much resistance that you'll actually go more slowly on that straighter path than you would on the winding one, which is really the path of least resistance for you. Then the next element is the idea that it is the path of support, where it will bring you whatever form of abundance you need to allow you to continue to keep acting on your excitement. But you have to remember that abundance can come in many forms. Yes, on your planet, you have a form of exchange that you call money, and that's fine. It's equally valid to any other form of abundance, but it's not the only form. Being given a gift is a form of abundance. Having something to trade with someone is a form of abundance. The idea of your imagination is a form of abundance. Synchronicity is a form of abundance, and communication is a form of exchange and abundance that can bring you everything you need if you allow the different forms to work together. Sometimes you may need just a little bit of money, and then sometimes you may need to be added to that, something that someone gives you, or you find that you have something to trade with someone to add to it, or you find that communicating something to someone will give you the information you need to move forward. Let all the forms come together to form the 100% abundance that you may need, because it may not always be necessary for one particular form to fill the 100%, and it may not be the path of least resistance for it to do so. So let the abundance come, let the support come in whatever way it needs to, in whatever form it needs to come, so that you always have the 100% abundance that you need made out of different forms that will allow you to continue to be able to act on your excitement. Because remember, our definition of abundance is simply the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. That's it. That's all it takes. So you have the idea of the driving engine. You have the idea of the organizing principle of synchronicity. You have the idea of the path of least resistance. You have the idea of the path of connection. You have the idea of the path of support. And now you have the idea of the path of relevance, as we have said, where the things that are truly relevant for you will come to you through that synchronicity, and the things that don't come are simply not relevant for you, at least not at that moment. They may become relevant for you, they may not. But the point is you have to know that you have to trust the way your life unfolds. And what it brings you is, if you're operating on that frequency, what you actually need. And nothing else will come because you don't need it. Again, at least not at that moment. If you do need it at some point, the organizing principle of synchronicity will bring it to you, will bring you the opportunity, will bring you the doorway to walk through, will bring you the information you need at that moment to do what you need to do when you need to do it. So trust the idea that relevance is key. It's not, again, about the idea of what is possible. It's about the idea of what is probable, what is relevant for you to be fulfilled as the you that you are. And finally, you find that the element that wraps it all up is the reflective mirror. In other words, as you are moving forward on acting on your passion and your excitement, one of the things that may happen is that the reflective mirror tool may reveal to you, may bring something up in you that is not in alignment with your excitement. You may be holding on to an unconscious negative fear-based belief system that you didn't know was there. So when you move forward and accelerate on your excitement and raise your frequency, you are more capable of handling in a positive way what the reflective mirror may reveal to you has been lurking inside your unconscious mind that you didn't know was there, so that in bringing it to your conscious mind, you can realize that there is something out of alignment with who you prefer to be, and recognize that if you analyze what the actual belief is saying to you, you will realize it makes no sense. And when it makes no sense, it's gone. That's the end of the process of letting it go. If you still behave the same way that you don't prefer to, then that's your first clue that you haven't found the fundamental belief, or that some belief is making you believe that this belief that you don't prefer still makes sense somehow. find that belief and let that go, because sometimes beliefs will collect together to form self-sustaining cycles. They'll support each other, they'll reinforce each other in a manner that doesn't necessarily allow you to make a change within your belief system, because they're telling you that if you do, something bad will happen. They make you afraid to let go of things. They make you afraid to change. But you have to remember, as we said before, you're changing all the time. It's not a matter of having to learn how to change. It's a matter of realizing that you're changing all the time and deciding for yourself what you want the next change to be, how you want to define it, who you prefer to be as a being, how you wish to express yourself, what you prefer your reality to reflect back to you. So the reflective mirror, paradoxically, while you're acting on your passion, may bring up things that are not representative of your passion. But having the reflective mirror, here's the paradox, bring to your attention things that are not reflective of your excitement is part of your excitement. Because without discovering those things, you wouldn't know that there is something holding you back. You wouldn't be aware of that negative and fear-based belief that once you let go of, you can add its energy to the momentum of your passion and accelerate yourself that much more quickly forward in the direction that you prefer.